Okay, so this is our project to model and make a controller for an automatic emergency braking system in a car. So there are 1.7 million rear-end accidents in the US each year, and there's been a lot of increased attention and projects trying to make self-driving cars and cars that can sense the environment around them and react appropriately. So our objective is to create a controller for an automatic emergency braking system in a car. And this controller will activate when the car gets within a certain safe braking distance that's set for a given speed. And this controller will also eliminate a lot of human error and reaction time delay in braking scenarios to improve the safety. So we started with a first principles model of just a car approaching a stationary object from a certain distance away and at a certain set speed limit. And our model is from a momentum balance that solves for dV/dt and takes into account the torque on the rotor, the disc, and then also the air drag on the car. And in our equation down here, m is the mass of the car, F is the friction factor between the brake pad and the wheel rotor, A is the area of the brake pad, and P is the brake fluid pressure. And then in the drag part, rho is the density of the air, AC is the cross-sectional area of the front of the car, CD is the drag coefficient, and V is the velocity of the car at a given moment in time. And so from our first principles model, we were able to do a test to get some FOPDT parameters, first order plus set time parameters, for our system. And as you can see from our step in the brake pressure, we get a velocity that decays nicely over time, and our gain is about -1.1. Our time constant is about 2.5 seconds, and there's pretty much no dead time in our model.
So for our controller design, we chose to use a PEI controller, a partial integral controller. A sensor for our controller is the radar sensor in the front of the car that will determine the distance of the vehicle from an obstacle. To actuate our process, we'll use the brake pedal and the brake pressure applied to stop the vehicle once it comes within that set point distance. Our set point is the variable distance from an object based on the speed of our vehicle. The controller will begin to activate once the car is within the set point distance. As you can see here on the right, we have a line that illustrates your speed and your safe stopping distance on a dry road. So as your speed increases, your safe stopping distance will increase. And once you, for a given speed, come within that safe stopping distance, the controller will activate and begin to slow your car. We also implemented some scheduled gain that will allow us to avoid colliding with the obstacle, as well as provide a smooth braking response, and implemented a large integral term that helped to stabilize our controller and eliminate oscillations.
We did 3 different case studies at different conditions. So our first one is case study A, which we did at 7 miles per hour and initial distance from the object of 50 feet. Good to note that the safe stopping distance for 7 miles per hour is about 25 feet, so we're just outside of that distance. So very quickly you can see the graph on the left with the x-axis of time and the y-axis is pressure and psi of the brake fluid. You can see that very quickly that starts to apply pressure to the rotor, which then begins to stop the car. And then you can see that after about 6 seconds, it stops the car, which you can also see here on the middle graph with same x-axis of time in seconds and then velocity in feet per second. And the velocity comes to 0 at about 6 seconds after starting an initial velocity of over 100 feet per second. And then on the right, you can see the x-axis is the distance, actually decreases down to 0, that's distance away from the object, and then speed in feet per second on the y-axis as well. And you can see we start about 100 feet per second, and then are able to stop just before colliding with the obstacle. Our case study B is at higher speed at 105 miles per hour initial speed, and then a little bit further away at 350 feet. So you can see again, these are the same 3 graphs. Time, percent PSI versus time. Initial in about 4 seconds. And then on the right here, you can see our distance between the object on our x-axis, and then our speed in feet per second on the y-axis. We started a little about 150 feet per second, and then we're able to stop several feet in front of the object. And then our last case study was at a slower speed and a much larger distance at 50 miles per hour and 800 initial feet distance with the object. And so initially we aren't even within the safe braking distance. So actually we just stay at the same. You can see on this middle graph, velocity versus time. You can see that we just stay at the same speed until we then, after about 5 seconds, come within that safe braking distance. And that's when the brake pressure begins to cloud and it comes to max, and then we're able to stop the car at around 13 seconds, as you can see here. The velocity drops down to 0. And then on the graph on the right, we started above 70 feet per second, and then again, as we decrease in distance from the object, we are again able to stop before we collide with that object and before our distance reaches 0.
So in conclusion, we were able to implement a PI controller that was able to stop our vehicle before colliding with a stationary object. We implemented scheduled gain for a quicker and more aggressive braking response while maintaining the smooth type of braking response you would want in your vehicle, and we were able to successfully avoid the collision in several test cases. Future work that we would continue to do on this controller and on this system is extend the functionality of our controller to accommodate for a moving obstacle. If you were driving behind a car that was moving in front of you that was slowing down or stopping and speeding back up, we would continue to work on our controller to make it evaluate and work for a moving obstacle. And then we would be able to evaluate different car shapes, masses, brake piston sizes, and variable system conditions for a vehicle, and account for different road conditions like slippery rain or snow or ice.